Travel, you can expect your experience to be very different to what you remember. Around the world, it's unclear which airlines will survive this pandemic.
But the crisis hasn't only put tourism on life support, it's likely to leave a permanent reminder at our airports as well. The airline industry is facing turmoil on multiple fronts.
We've got several things happening in parallel here. We've got airports that are sort of basically vacant, with airport management looking at what they need to do to be ready for the return of air travellers. You've got airlines saying, scratching their heads and saying, how are we going to get travellers back in the air?
In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, customer confidence will be essential.
Passengers have got to be confident that the aeroplane is sanitised. Airlines are well and truly on top of that right now. But very importantly, they've got to be absolutely convinced that the airport is scrupulously clean.
It means the way we travel is set to change in a way we haven't seen since the September 11 terror attack.
After 9/11, we got confronted by chaotic security queues as governments and airports struggled to screen all passengers, and it probably took about 2 or 3 years for the whole system to be bedded down properly and becoming a little bit less of a hassle.
Security and making people feel safe from terror was the challenge in 2001. In 2020 and beyond, biosecurity will be our biggest concern.
We believe technology like this, where we can make sure that they don't have to touch surfaces, where there's a higher hygiene factor, is going to encourage people to come back.
Elenium is an Australian company developing touchless self-service terminals that can check out a passenger's vital signs as they check in.
The idea is the person goes up to it and uses it like they usually would. So in the case of the kiosk, they will check in. While they're going through the check-in process, if we detect that they have an elevated temperature, then it will move into a mode that actually checks their other vital signs.
If the passenger is clear of symptoms, the check-in process continues without interruption. But further help is available should there be signs of illness.
Yes. I'd like to speak to a nurse.
Good morning. Would you mind if I asked you a few additional questions, please?
It's not just our airlines facing this challenge. The entire tourism industry is fighting to win back our trust. The taxis that take us to our destinations, the hotels where we stay, and the cruise ships. They're all promising to clean up their act.
I think far and wide we'll see a very different approach to hygiene.
Michael McQueen is a trend forecaster and says the answer may lie with countries who insist on a clean bill of health before you travel.
The German government right now are looking to trial immunity certificates or passports, so you'll only be able to travel or go to work if you've got proven immunity.
Masks used to be frowned upon in airports, but that too may be changing.
The reality is a lot of Aussies have sort of smirked at travellers from Asia who've worn face masks over the last few years. We'll likely see that become increasingly part of the norm. Again, whether they're effective or not is beside the point. It's the perception of being protected, of being safe.
The protection of passengers, now the key to protecting the industry.